Busting the world's oldest conspiracy by revealing the first writers' formats in the Bible. Have you ever wondered who is editing the Bible? These are some of the words written by the 1611 King James translators that are wrote in its preface. They state 4 reasons how anyone can re-edit the text in the Bible. Their third reason is by the light and feeling we attained unto ourselves. The next arrow down points to them writing, a great clerk, Gregory, is the divine, spelt with a capital D. At the bottom, they will tell you by studying the Bible, your reward is to have a participation in a heavenly nature. Whereas the Bible's words should be telling you how to be obedient to our Creator to enter into heaven. Now you know by their own words, they are not the good guys editing the Bible. Here, let me show you the 12 commandments that are listed in Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. Surprising, isn't it? Now let me show you how I changed one word in Exodus chapter 26, verse 26, the word bars to arches, and now you know that these planks make the hip roof for the tent for meeting for Yv. Why did I just use 2 letters for our Creator's name? Well, Hebrews did not have the letters J, O, or W in their language. Therefore, I am closer when I say the letters YV in English than anyone else. It is better to learn how to pronounce these 2 letters in Hebrew. Our Creator made me see Him 8 times, and these videos are my recording of how and why I am re-editing their text. Then all these books that I am editing will be made into one book in order. In my YouTube description, it has our Creator's hidden formats in a PDF of the same text. In fact, it is a message to everyone today and in the future. I have also made many different styles from these hidden formats for copyright reasons. All right, what I am doing here, for those of you that are new, I am finding the first writer's formats that are hidden in the Hebrew text. Now, this is an example of what I found in chapter 1 of Ezekiel. And what I have here is a 4-verse format, where there's going to be a comma, and then there's going to be a period, then there's going to be a comma and a period. And this is going to make a small paragraph. And when it repeats, then these 2 become a larger paragraph, okay? And there's not enough to show you in there, but right here you can see I put a double space, and then it repeats again, and then there's a double space, so you get a better sense of this grouping here as to how the format truly looks when it's put together as a story. The 3-verse format I will put up when I start doing that one. But right now, all I have here to work with is a 4-verse starting here in Ezekiel. So what the story started out has in chapter 2, it's going to be these are words that describe are honoring and respecting our Creator by putting them all capital letters. That's when he's speaking, and he's going to prophesy and have the prophet go out and herald the news of his prophecy. And right now he's going to say, listen, from your mouth you will herald what I'm giving to you, and a scroll appeared. Okay. And then he tells us what's on the scroll. Now, chapter 3 starts out saying that you're going to eat this scroll. So I'm looking for a 4-verse, and then this was my quick note. Tell me how many verses, and that means it's going to take about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to get through these chapter 3 and 4. But for now, I have to start finding the text. This is our Creator. Then he said to me, this Son of Man, I don't think is the true word. I think we'd have to put in his name Ezekiel here. He said to me, then he said, whoops, this has to be, I added, then he said, Ezekiel, eat. I don't think it's going to be this. Eat this scroll. Now, I don't know here if the word eat is correct. So I'm looking at the text above. So he said to me, if I leave this here, truthful, get rid of this, get rid of this. Just a second, I need to take this phone call. All right. My dad's in rehab and things are not going good. So that was the interruption. Then he said to me, I'm going to have to say, what is in this? What is. Yeah, I'm going to have to put what is in the scroll, what is on the scroll. So I'm adding these. Going to get rid of the what is on the scroll. So I have to do this as a comma. This will be a period. I don't think that go and herald. That's what I do when I'm changing a word to be more precise. Go and herald to the tribes, not the house, but tribes for Israel. Now, this is the nation Israel, by the way. This is not just the male's name. So I'm doing this, getting rid of this, getting rid of this. Just a second, I got to get that phone again. Okay, that problem got straightened out, kind of. Okay. When I changed the nation Israel, or the word Israel pops up so many different ways, I tried to highlight it like this, meaning the one of the two nations, Israel or Judah, and I put them in all capital letters if they're a good nation, and if it's they're not good, which is this is what's going to happen. They're not good right now, so they're in small capital letters. So this this helps the reader understand the situation if they're paying attention to my way of how I'm editing the text to help people understand what is actually going on. Okay. Then he said to me, what is on the scroll, go herald to the tribes for Israel. All right. Now this is like they tried to add the word eat here. And I think because it has the word mouth here, yeah, here's the word, and eat what I'm going to give you. But since I removed those words eat because they weren't fitting into the text, we already have the assumption that when he read it, he said we're mournings and woes. So now I don't think I'm going to need this. And he's already talking to him. He's already told him what to do. Okay, so don't need this. Now see, this is what it's already here, has already been said, so I don't need to repeat that. And this has already been pretty much said as well. Okay, now what I'm seeing here is okay, now this looks like it's going to be a 4-verse format. So what I do need to do is I need to take a break real quick. So I'm going to replay. No, I'm not. I'm just going to let you look at the text from the previous and let you read this. Maybe even take a screenshot of it. But this is chapter 2, and like I'm trying to continue with the story here. So I'll be right back. All right, I hope you got a real good understanding by reading this format, how beautiful it really is. And what I'm claiming here when I'm showing these formats is that they started with these words and then they corrupted the text. So I thought there was a 4-verse before I left here. So what I've got here is, for your not being sent of difficult language. Oh, that's not really. This word here is a newer word. I don't think they would have that in their vocabulary. So let me, I guess, show you what I have here. I have a Bible program. It's the New American Standard with the New American Standard Concordance over here on this side. So when I hit this word, it shows me this word here, and they're saying they used it 3 times. And I don't think that's right. But difficult speech. And this is not really right neither. But I usually try to use this to try to help me figure out what I could use other than this word. Example, the word language isn't too new of a word. They used the word tongue. When it said they spoke in tongues, it meant they spoke in different languages. So now that you know that, or difficult tongues, what's difficult tongues though? This has already been said. So if I get rid of that, or you are being sent. To the people who are not smart, do not understand your tongue. Let's see, I've got here, what is on the scroll? Go herald to the tribes of Israel. Because when he says go herald it, why would he be repeating all this? So I don't see I'm needing this. Whose words you cannot understand. That isn't a matter of him understanding them. He's heralding. And to many peoples, this would be many races. Go herald to the tribes for Israel and the many races. Whose words you cannot understand. I don't think I need any of this either. And this would be, I'm just needing to recopy this. Yet the tribes for Israel will not yet the tribes for Israel will not listen to you. I have to add the word for here, for they have not. I have to put been listening to me. Yeah, it does. Or they have not been listening to me. Really, it has to be for the tribes for Israel are stubborn. I don't think I need the word surely. But I'm going to need the word for whole. This has to be everyone. Let me see what I can do in 7 to show the word whole. Anyone else every 380 times, so every 198 times. So I'm using the word that they could have used here, but they didn't want to. For everyone. You surely know that that word wouldn't have been used then. And they're not stubborn, they're rebellious. When they're not paying attention to the 12 commandments, they are rebelling against our Creator. Everyone is rebellious. Is rebelling. Rebelling, I guess ing. I was thinking spelled differently as rebellion. Rebellion, okay. Is rebellion. And this is not needed to be said. This has to be like so to introduce the word here. So do not be afraid of them. Do not be afraid of them has to be part of the question here. So do not be afraid of them, or I would say disheartened. I'm trying to find it here in afraid of them, to be terrified of them. I will do that as well. Now that's the end of that verse. So do not be afraid of them or be terrified by them. We already know this is there, so now I have to find, he's still talking to him anyway. This is not right. Do not be afraid of them or be terrified by them. Which I will speak to you, and listen closely. Now, we've already got him reading. I had him reading the text as from up here in chapter 2 was written not at mourning and woes. No, yeah, go herald to what's on there. So when it's got down here, what I will speak to you is wrong. When I take it into your heart, all my words, and listen closely. Now this he's already said, and we know whether they listen or not. Go herald to the tribes of Israel. I got to have a second one to go. Okay, and this is the second part. So I've got to find the next two verses of four, or two sets of four verses. Now this is still too much already been said. Nor terrified by them, for they are going into exile. This is trying to say these words to them. And go to the exiles. They are going to be exiles. But this doesn't make any sense if I say it that way. And these words need to be switched around to be said correctly. Because thus needs to be changed to this. So if I copy that word, make it small, put it yellow, and then put it over here and say I'm changing this word. Although do not be afraid of them or terrified by them, but herald this is from your, yeah, it has to be said that way. This is from your Lord YV, and this is going to be when they changed his name to confuse the title. Oops. So if I get rid of this word and take you over here and get to 11. Yeah, they changed his name. So they got the right title. Adonai is used as the word Lord. So they didn't need to make another title Lord, but they did 6,399 times as Lord, and Lord's another 111 times. But that's wrong. They had the title for Lord already. But herald this is from your Lord YV. Now I've got to have them saying something. Now this we don't need here. Wife is in his place. Boy, is that stupid. And you can't bless our Creator. So that is out. Now this stuff here was all at the beginning and I threw all that out. So don't need any of this crap. Because he's not said anything. He's not heralding what he's supposed to be herald. Sat there 7 days. This they're trying to say is the river Euphrates is where they're at. But he didn't come to the exiles. Now see, this is what he's saying here. But we've already got him speaking as a prophet. And this is him now telling him he's appointed him as a watchman, but he's actually a prophet, so that isn't right. And he's already told him to go herald, and he knows he's going to go herald, so this is wrong. But this is from your Lord YV. Now this is the first set of 4, and I've got to come up with the second set of 4. And if he's talking for a creator, it'd be say he didn't say he prophesied. He prophesies. He prophesies to make it first person. To our evil ones. It's the only way I can put it. You will certainly die. Now this is not going to be at his hand. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to make this, so I'm going to be here. Surely you surely will die. Maybe I've got that wrong. You will surely die. You will surely die. And this is not really needed because the evil ones, you did not warn them or speak out. He's not going to tell the prophet that he's already. Prophets do what our Creator says do. They don't hesitate, they just do. You will surely die. For your sins and bloodshed. Whoops. Boy, this is a tough going today here. Sins are the 12 commandments. And that is the agreement of not obeying them. You needed to bring a sin offering. So these are sins for your sins and murders. Can't be sins now. It has to be wicked for you. This has to be like wickedness. For your wickedness and bloodshed. By your hand. By your hands. That make any sense though? For your wickedness and bloodshed. Require isn't quite the right word here. So this is 18. This is saying here that I will require by your hand. I demand, one word. This doesn't make, those don't words don't, I only, it has sought. If I put the word sought here, I don't need the words in front of it. It's, he's talking about not him, but what you sought by your hand for your wickedness and bloodshed. You sought by your hands. You required by your hands. Let me see here. You demanded by your hands. Your wickedness and bloodshed. Oh, if I put out here, sought out by your hands, I guess I could do like that and probably end up having to do a little bit more editing later. But I think I got the intent of what's being said, so. Okay, that's one group. That's the second group. So now I gotta find, whoops, this is only, okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, okay. Now this almost like is text from a different story. Yeah, this is two different stories now. This text does not go with this text. This is kind of odd because it's kind of like if the wicked does not turn it's like this. And it's not wicked, it's evil. So, but you have delivered yourself. This is not right. He has to be they. Gotta include women in this. They will die. It says to be for evilness. And I'm thinking I got this right here. That verse is right now. They will die for their evilness. You are to warn if you warn the wicked and he does not turn. I'm not getting this quite. Again, when a righteous man turns away from his righteousness and commits sin, sins, many of them, the place hostile before him. It's got to be, I say he will die. But that is not really why you're supposed to repent to go to heaven. So, this being said, that I say they will die. that at your hand, though. For you have warned the righteous man. You have delivered yourself. You can't deliver yourself. What I'm seeing here is, because it's just a piece out in the middle of nowhere. The righteous would know to stay righteous because they're wanting to obey our Creator to go to heaven. But if they're warning them about the destruction of Israel, but this is example. If I put, however, you are warning the righteous man, and he does not sin, he will surely live. So he's not warning them. The righteous man, man meaning male and female, will surely live. That's about the only true things here that I can say. This is out. It's not making sense. If he does not turn from his evil, that he does not repent from his wicked way, boy, I'm just going to call all this out. This is just not making much sense to me. He's already going to say, because he's already requiring that by their wickedness and bloodshed they sought out by their hand, they're going to die. So you will surely die. So But what I'm seeing here, now if I have an no, this is a separate, this goes together. So I was looking for two. So the righteous man does not sin. Righteous man does not sin. They will surely live. They will surely live. For they listened to my warning. That's the only way I can see this being truthful. The evil are dying, the good are getting to live, but they can't deliver themselves. He's going to deliver them by keeping them alive. Okay. This is not going to be true. Again, this is not. There's not enough here being said. Yeah, this is missing the other part of this. So somewhere there's another verse missing. This is not being. This is so. There's not enough to go with this, but it ended here. but there's 4 verses missing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in one. And say this is just missing text to complete that. And the rest of it's just out. So I guess I'll clean it up because this is all that I've got here. And it's not much, but it's a piece to the puzzle. I need that, I need this. Now let me get closer to the text and see what actually I've got here. It's going to be continued as a 4 verse, but this has to go. This is a comma, this appeared, this has to be the comma. Oops, comma. Now if those two go together, this has to. And then this has to have 2 spaces. And then it's 2 spaces. Okay, so then he said to me, what is on the scroll, go herald to the tribes for Israel. Yet the tribes for Israel will not listen to you, for they have not been listening to me, for everyone is rebelling. So do not be afraid of them or be terrified by them, but herald this is from your Lord YHVH. He prophesies to our evil ones. You will surely die for your wickedness and bloodshed you sought out by your hands. This has to be to the righteous man. Who does not sin will surely live, for they listen to my warning. Okay. All right. I think I got that text. Yeah, I think I think I really got that one. Okay. Or whatever I could find of that one. And I don't need this spacing here now. So Now I've got 16 verse here. I'm trying to find the beginning of it. This here I don't need. And inscribe on it Jerusalem. And you can't inscribe, you can write on it. So he can't go to the exiles. He's back here in Jerusalem again, by the way. Get rid of that. If this is continuing from here, and we don't have the rest of the story, but then he's going to do this. So this would be now or then do this. So then it has to be by a brick. And write on it Jerusalem. And place it before you. It has to be the word then. Then write on it Jerusalem. Can't lay siege, you got to make a siege and make like a siege. And now I laid the word and here. I'm not getting this correctly here on this, because if this is the last verse ends here, I can't tie it with any of these words here. Then write on it Jerusalem and make like a siege. And then this I can't use. Okay. Now I think I've got that part right. Now, if the brick is representing Jerusalem, now build up a wall. So he's making dirt around it. Or are the bricks then by not a, but bricks? And place them before you. Yeah, I think that's right. And place them before you. And write on in the center, write Jerusalem. I don't need those. He's going to buy bricks. Place 4 of them is there. Then he's going to write Jerusalem and make like a siege. Now, a ramp. Now, this is what am I using for this? Because I've got bricks, but I need dirt. I need wood. So I need branches. Build with branches. No. Fill with branches. Build up a siege. Build up a siege. By if I put making by making. Now, if you're making this by making a ramp there, that's to a ramp. I'm thinking is it's almost like ladders. Build up a siege by making camps. In the clock here. Actually, I need one more hour. I gotta leave in an hour. Okay, so build up a siege by making camps. And battering rams all around it here. It is here. Build up a siege by making camps and battering rams all around it. this so that it is under siege. That doesn't make sense to set your face towards it. So that is under siege. The battery is, so it's under siege. Because I need a second part to go with. That's a pretty good introduction to the next verse. This has got to be tribes for Israel. I'm going to put my sign. Not a sign, but it's his doing. But this is, I don't think I'm going to find the word doing in your witnessing. This is your witnessing. I like that word. This is their witnessing. This is their witnessing. For tribes from Israel. I'm not seeing how I can use any of these words actually to make these two better, to go with these two. This is their witnessing for the tribes for Israel. But wait a second, it can't be Jerusalem. What am I thinking here? It can't be Jerusalem. That means it would be something said by Jeremiah. This has to be for Samaria. This word is wrong. But, it's right. But this text now has to be said by Jeremiah. Or before Jeremiah. This would have to be like Israel. What I'm trying to do is figure out the timeline now of this text. We have Israel at this time, starting somewhere in the middle here, and we know it's to the end here. That's Israel, or Isaiah. We don't have any text here, but this is now telling me to correct Isaiah, we have to have, or Ezekiel. This is not text from Ezekiel. Now, Manasseh the king had Uriah the prophet killed. We know that Micah was prophesying at this time here in Ezekiel's time about Israel being, because we have him's name tied to Ezekiel, or as the text from Jeremiah has Micah tied to Ezekiel here. Let me see, how can I want to prove that. So if I see, now I've got this listed as Micah. This would be, this text is in Israel. This is the capital city of Israel. Okay, so this is coming from the text Micah. Okay, I grabbed the wrong book. That's what I did here. Let me. No, let me see here. Oh, okay, I can't get it. I'm not prepared for this. So what it is that I know that there's text that says that Micah said it, that Israel's going to be destroyed. And I don't really, and it was an argument that Jeremiah was having with the priests and the people in the street when he was declaring or heralding that Jerusalem is going to be destroyed. And I'm not sure if it's by Babylon, but the thing here is when the people stood up, whether they were going to, the priests were going to be able to get to kill Jeremiah, the people there stood up, or the elders stood up and said, no, we have people in the past that have done this. Because if you look at this over this 100 years, this tells me, or tells us, that the prophesying had been going on for a long time. So people were kind of like, well, this has already been said. And when they were saying it was said by Micah, but King Ezekiel did not kill him. But then when Uriah came around, Manasseh killed him. So since this hasn't come about, that you can't really kill him, he's just another prophet saying the same thing as these two. So now that I've got this text is not by Ezekiel. Plain and simple, because we're talking about Jerusalem being under besiegement, which is really crazy because I've got the tribes of Israel in Judah, tribes not for Israel in. Okay, now this is getting better, because now I know that this answer here, or this word here, is actually Judah. The tribes that fled from Israel under captivity fled into Jerusalem, Judah. So that's what's going on here. So this correction, let me see here where it needs to be here and here. And here, and it's not Ezekiel. And it's not Ezekiel. So this text just become really crazy. Okay. Now, if that's corrected now, because of, Or it's not Micah and it's Ezekiel, which would be crazy. Oh, my little mind gets all screwed up when I'm doing these things. Because the timeline is telling this is tribes in Judah, not for Israel, because they're talking about Jerusalem and there's going to be besieging, and that did happen. The besieging happened to Jerusalem. It didn't happen to Samaria in Israel. So that is under siege for an army will besiege it. So that's now that tells me that I need the word and here, and this is they're witnessing for the tribes in Judah. Okay. Now, in Jerusalem, at this time, I've got to at least tell you a little bit about what's going to happen here because the text is already done. And Jeremiah tells us that the dates for it, they besieged it. They came in, they went, and the main army come and settled on Jerusalem to camp around it and started besieging it. But the rest of the Judah was being burnt, captured, people fighting, dying, and collected as captives. But for Jerusalem to fall, I think they had like almost a full year. A full year. Yeah, I gotta start getting some of this text so I can click on it quicker because now I can see that it would have been a must for today. But the thing here is that they were because they had to have famine occur in there and they didn't have enough time to gather. So within 1 year, they would have been dying of famine and diseases from the bodies. But so the number of days that he's going to be is 390 days. That's almost one of their years. No, it's 365 days. So this would have been a little bit more than a year. Now this is talking about two different times, this prophet, one for Israel and then one for Jerusalem, which is now what the story was above here. So that's telling me this is all kind of a lie. And why would he bear for their sin? He wouldn't. $40 for a day for each year. That doesn't make sense. I don't see this as being truthful. I think it does come up in our creators hidden formats, but in this one, I don't see this as maybe I don't have that there. Maybe I've got him. You'll lie down on your left side, but this is him as someplace. Yeah, he's got to eat. So somewhere I've got to have this. Where you will lay down on your left side. You lay down on your left side. Assigned the numbering. You assign days. For your days. Fuel day on your left side. For your number of day. Your number of day. And then if he's completed those, and this I'm now going to get rid of. Well, I guess I do need the word for. A number of days. For a number of days. They wouldn't have corresponding. What word do they have instead of corresponding? They would have to have. Yeah, the word corresponding is not there, so that's great. So what do I have here then? Boy, I have it right here. I use this and this is out. I have assigned you. And for you. Okay, now I think I got that. But this, if it's a day for each year, and it's only 1 year, he's not going to lay on the ground through the winter. And I will put ropes on you so that you cannot turn this until you. Okay, if this is a comma, this is a period, completed, comma. Your days. For their siege. Okay. He's not going to lay that many days, so I'm thinking this is out. But But you will. It's got to be by. Flour. And make into bread yourself to eat. According to make bread for yourself to eat. Is on your side. Okay. Don't need this. The water you drink will I don't think I can use this. Will be well, let's see this. will be by a cup's measure. It's the only thing I can think of to be truthful. Half cups. To be measured no to measure your drink. Boy, is this hard to say what I'm. And the water you drink will be by half cups. So I'm just going to say this is all added by me. But I want to make sure the word by is there. Will be by half cups to measure your drinking from time to time. Because that would be talking about the sparseness of the water that's going to be there. Okay, so, and the water you drink will be by half cups to measure your drinking from time to time. This is not needed because it's talking about being besieged. And this isn't needed. This is not needed. Now this is what's going to happen. So this is prophecy. This is not needed. Reading it. This has to be 4. Okay, and then this is out. Now, these two go together, those two to go together, those two will go together, and those two will go together. And then I don't need this. Okay, that was pretty good. Took a long time for me to get that, though. Let me actually save that. Whoops. Then buy bricks and place them before you. And place them before you. Then write Jerusalem and make like a siege. Build up a siege by making camps and battering rams all around it, so that it is under siege, for an army will besiege it. And this is their witnessing for the tribes in Judah. For you are to lie down on your left side for the number of days I have assigned for you. Now this needs a second one here. Those two group together, those two group together. And those two group together. And those two group together. And just like that, prophecy. We have the first writer's words. Is truthful in my best knowledge to the story being truthful. Now, there's no days here. So where is the number of days? I assigned for you and for the number of days. I assigned for you is 3. Okay, and there. I think that's more truthful. So in this video, they've got to come back here to figure out what I did. So I'm going to add this 3-day number now back into this text here. And I'm going to take this 3, copy it, get rid of it, is. Now put it here as saying that was the number. And I'm adding it there. I have signed for you is 3. Now I can save that. Now I am happy. Wow. Let's just be real. You do need to go to the bathroom. But I think our Creator can make him hold it for 3 days unless he's allowed to get up and go to the bathroom and come back. So I think that's what would happen. To be truthful, there's nothing in the text about that, and you know that it could not possibly be 390 days. And he couldn't have made that much bread in a pot to be made, and he'd have to make it, so he's got to collect wood, so he's got to have a pile of wood to make the bread. So most of that stuff has got to be untruthful. But 15 is next, or 5 is next with 16 verses. So with that, I will stop the stream today, and hopefully you'll at least tell somebody to come watch this crazy guy find the hidden writers, first writers, hidden formats.